standing and saying, reciting the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If that furnace gets a little noisy, just flip the switch.
Right. Okay.
Is there a birthday boy here? Mr. Schulte?
Here.
Mr. Helmers?
Here.
Mr. DeBoer?
Here.
I'm here. We would first look at the agenda for today, consider approval.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Loring, support from DeBoer for approval of the agenda as it was presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have an agenda. We would now look at the minutes from our June 24 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Support.
We have a motion for approval from Helmers with support from Schulte. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have minutes approved. Sheet. To consider the reappointment of Gary Snow as Veteran Affairs Commissioner.
Make the motion.
Support it.
We have a motion for the approval of the reappointment of Gary Snow from Schulte, support from DeBoer. Any comments or discussion on that? Without any, we'll ask those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have some other appointments that I think weren't here when we addressed this last meeting. It would be for Verlin Kinninger with EMR, a driver Kim Kinninger, RNX paramedic Amy Steffen, part-time custodian Richard Kruckman, and dispatcher jailer Renee Miranda. Would look for those appointments.
Make that motion.
I'll support.
We have a motion from Schulte, support from Helmers for the approval of those individuals and positions. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We've been provided contracts for consideration for CASA and rides. To take action on those. Can we do them together or do you want them separate?
I think they can be together. This is what we had budgeted.
I'll make that motion to approve. Second it.
We have a motion from Helmers, support from Loring for approval of contracts with CASA and rides. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, do we want to address the know before software or wait till, I've got 8:50. We'll move to department heads. Go ahead and start, Rochelle.
Okay.
Writing side.
We are busy, Chantry's busy working on statements, getting the property statements out. We did our fiscal year and we have a special election coming up September 9th. Sibley Cheaton is having a special in Pebble. And I'm waiting to hear if Sheldon will also have a special that day. If it's just Sibley Cheaton, I'm just going to have 2 precincts in Cheaton and Sibley, because in my other precincts there's 8, 9 Sibley, people, so it doesn't pay to have all those precincts open. So that will be September 9th. So we're getting ready for that.
Okay. Reggie, have things to share?
Yeah, I guess, called some people about trimming trees, I only heard back from one, he might be here today or tomorrow, so. If they can peek at it, otherwise, same old, try and keep ahead of the moment, which is a little easier now that half of it's gone. Yeah.
Aren't you gonna tell us about a tree with a hole in it? Aren't you gonna tell us about a tree with a hole in
Well, yeah. I guess, one on the west side of the, was it monument or the, whatever that is. It's got a pretty good sized hole where it veers off over the sidewalk. And, I don't know, I think, my personal opinion, it should probably come down before it blows down someday in the next, whatever comes up for weather, but. And that's up to you guys, but I know that's probably, well, I don't know how to keep it together, I guess, it's just, something up top that's holding it. It's not what everybody wants to hear, but that's kind of a bit of reality. Otherwise, the other ones, I think they can be trimmed up and looking back to normal or decent, you know. And, yeah, I mentioned the deal up top, or?
Go for it.
Well, yeah, one of the units up top blew over and I never thought to go look at it, and it was the courtroom, so, I turned the lights on and never think nothing of it, and walked in there, it's pretty warm up here, so I finally went upstairs and stuck my head out, and, one unit was tipped over for that side, or the west side of the, top there, so. Called Stanton's, they come right away, but, yeah, it's, $4,300 and some odd dollars to get everything back up to snuff. So they were gonna order parts and yeah, then whatever their insurance is gonna cover, it'll still be probably, what, 3,000?
Yeah, we have a $1,000 deductible, so we'll have to pay that, and then the rest insurance will cover. So.
Yeah, like I said, nobody noticed it, and like I said, I just actually spent a little time in there. It's like, I looked, it's like, oh, damn, we're 80 degrees. But, so I just went up and shut it off after the fact, and then, yeah, they got parts coming, I guess. I think they got it pumped up and running, but it's not, I don't want to say, it's out of adjustment for hitting the ground at whatever it hit the ground at. So. That's about the sums up my deal, I guess, as far as I know.
Sheriff?
We worked on a special project for the state on the move over law, and we had some citations issued on that. Trying to inform the public about the new Iowa hands-free law, where everybody knows about that, right? Everybody was so enthused about it. I thought it'd be better receptive to that, but there's a lot of people upset about that. Then I've just been working on our inmate mental health providers. So I came up with, found the new company that was, it was brought up at one of our sheriff's meetings. So we went with a different company than the current one we had.
Now with the hands-free, can I put it on speaker and lay it on the dash?
As long as you don't have your hands on it.
Conservation?
Well,
We had 3 parks receive some pretty substantial damages from that windstorm about a month ago. Hawkeye Point, Willow Creek, and Trevandi. Luckily for us, though, it was mostly just trees, and we have gotten all of that stuff picked up. We did get our food plots planted, and they have been sprayed once. We are also trying to keep up with mowing in the parks. Been out mowing some thistles. I guess the cabin at Willow Creek is officially open and reservable. We did have some people stay in there in June, and it was very well received. Everybody seemed to really like it. Made the official Facebook post or something, I think yesterday, and last time I looked, it was like 112 likes or something like that. And like the amount of people that would just constantly send messages and be like, well, how much does it cost? Is it open? So we'll see how many reservations we get from that. And then the last thing is Outdoor Adventure Night is scheduled for August 15th out at Willow Creek. So bring the kids or bring yourselves.
County Attorney, anything to update us with?
Well, I'm playing catch up and trying to figure out what needs to be done first. Getting a list from the clerks of cases that are coming up on deadlines. So hoping there weren't too many that were missed. We're planning on putting an ad in for the new assistant. And I am thinking about, I would like to start a new Facebook page. Sioux County has one. They put out press releases. It opens transparency so everybody knows what we're doing in the county. When somebody's convicted, we put in a press release. New laws like the hands-free, which I'm in favor of. They have that up there. I think it's a really good way for people to see what we're doing and to see all the good that we're doing. And you know, we've got some juvenile cases that are set for contested hearing next month or so. One was actually scheduled for tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be contested after all. But looking to get some stuff done here, get caught up.
All right. Good, thanks. Engineer?
Okay, on the flooding update, we are starting to see some actually significant money coming in from FEMA now. We got a $250,000 check the other day, so that's good. On the bridge down by Poet, we're still working on clearances. The Corps changed reviewers, and with that, they changed kind of what they want us to do. So now we're kind of taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back on that. I have a fear that that's probably not going to go out to bid till this fall. Probably not going to go until next year with the way things are going on that. Other projects, the Oak Hill culverts, those did start. The Oak Hill North culvert, they excavated the little pipes yesterday. They're laying in bed today, and they have that box culvert laid by the end of the week. So that's going good, and then they'll move down to the south. So that part is at least going well. We had crack sealing that we were doing on A34 this last week. We had some issues with that, with the low winds and high heat and humidity. We had some tracking issues where we had to then come out and start sanding the road and things like that. So it wasn't ideal, but we made it through it. Other than that, working on RAGBRAI preparations. We got our list from the RAGBRAI community. They only had 2 potholes listed on the route in our area, so we got that addressed. But we've also been doing crack sealing and shouldering and mowing and trying to make that route look nice along there. We did get a request from the law enforcement who's going to be doing the traffic control to close the 4-way bridge. So we're going to be doing that on the day of the event. So that traffic will really only be able to go north-south through the 4-way bridge. They won't be able to use 848 to go east-west. So that's what's going on.
Order.
Our fee modernization bill did not go through this year, so the association is going to try to tweak that a little bit and hopefully pass it for next year. We're busy with boats and weddings, marriage applications and stuff, so.
I think you get the association to come with a unified front, and there's a
I
few
hope so.
people
That
off
was kind of a surprise because there was one. one recorder that kind of went off in a whole different direction than the rest of us, and it kind of just made a big mess of it, so hopefully, yeah, we'll be fine next time around.
All right. Just looking around what department heads we have here. I don't know how you snuck in without me.
He's good at that.
Well, it's been, adventurous couple months, so I know. Yeah, the windstorm was a learning experience. I guess, yeah, not much to really say, but some damage and, just working on things to get back up and running, make sure everything is going to run in the event of power outages and stuff like that. Taking ground drone school. It's about 70% done with my training. Then I'll go to test, so I should be able to be a commercial drone pilot and take ours to flight soon. Otherwise, yeah, I got a hazard mitigation plan to talk about a little bit later, and just working on plans and keeping compliant with the state. So.
Are you trying to get some other guys in on getting that drone pilot's license?
We'll see. There's been prices that I got. It's fairly cheap. $150 is the class. Very in depth. To get you prepared for the test. And I think it's about $150 for the test itself. We talked about logistics of that. My board, I guess, talked about having one from each department, if we needed it. Well, logistics of getting the drone there, where does it sit? Is it going to sit here in town or in my pickup? So that might not be a reality that we're going to pursue, but maybe, see in the future. So.
I was going to say Kevin will volunteer to take it wherever we need to go.
I can't even play video games.
So, and yeah, another thing you got for insurance wise, even O'Brien County said you got to be a county employee to then fly it to be compliant with insurance. So if that was to go down somewhere, strike something. Yep.
Treasurer?
Well, my office is fully staffed. Francie came back this week, so that's nice to have everyone there. We got year-end done, and that all went good, so now we're just waiting for the lovely drainage waivers to come in and start the tax and drainage statements.
All right. Sandra, it's good to have you back.
Oh, so, I don't know if I can say I'm glad to be back.
I think when the article comes out, we'll probably be glad.
I heard that didn't go so well last time.
All right, well, thank you. We've got someone that can pull some strings evidently and get us bakery goodies. Thank you, Nick, for providing today. Enjoy.
Thanks for the updates on the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I know it gets annoying. I don't want to send them out, but if there's some good weather coming, all I can tell you is what they tell me. So I did go out and storm watch last night too, but I'm glad it turned pretty green around here and it all headed south. So.
Thank you.
Everybody appreciates those, they really do.
Especially on Monday.
Well, you mentioned the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. That's our next item, and we are at 9 o'clock. Do you have insights you would like to share or recommendations?
So when you want to take them on, I don't know.
So like I said, learning here, but the hazard mitigation plan comes up every 5 years for renewal. So this, I think January will start for 5 years if we comply. So every 5 years, application is due by the end of July. Did we get the prices? Did you guys, so there's contractors listed for different counties. 5 years ago, we were in the same plan, or they made the same plan with Sioux and O'Brien. Both those counties don't want to be the fiscal agent for that. Also wouldn't probably be a good idea for us either, because the Sioux County's price might be quite a bit higher with all their damage and whatnot. So I guess Jared doesn't want to be the fiscal agent either, but we still might be submitting together. And maybe if we go with the same company, which they've gone with Two Rivers, we might be able to get a cheaper discount. So initially, the prices you see on the sheet is our cost, and then the hazard mitigation grant program will be able to get about 85% of that back. So, so our cost at the end would be about 15%, or $37.50 or so.
Did they check with Northwest Iowa Planning, see what their price should be?
So I doubt it, but this comes from the state. This is their approved vendors. So, but I don't.
I know we've always had Northwest Iowa Planning before, but
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know who did it 5 years ago.
they did.
They did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can look at that if you want. So one thing I'll need from you is an approved vendor. This is not just emergency management, but we also need to, get appointed as well, or authorized from you guys as well. So myself, if you want myself to be appointed, and then Rochelle can be the secondary appointed for this plan. And if we stay compliant, we'll be able to, with FEMA, get those funds when needed.
So the OOS column is not an option?
Well, unless we want to be a fiscal agent, but Sue and O'Brien does not want to be. So what that does is the fiscal agent will then, let's say it's O'Brien, Sue and Osceola will pay O'Brien, and then they'll pay the full amount. But like I say, Sue has already submitted theirs with Two Rivers, and O'Brien's looking to do the same. So it doesn't sound like OOS is going to be the way to go.
Sue or O'Brien went with whom? Do you know?
Two Rivers, he's
They did,
getting
okay.
appointed, yeah, or approved. So. Yeah, Mike, this is just the list that I got from Jack. He's the hazard mitigation planner. So he's been in contact with us, really pushing to get our app in. I did put a notice of interest in twice. The first one was just for EMA, and then he said, go ahead, scratch that, we'll put it in for the whole county. So that opens up the funds for all of Osceola County, not just my department.
Which one do you like?
Like I said, I think the Two Rivers is since Sue and O'Brien are going with that. I don't know the difference between them. Obviously, there's one that's super inflated. I don't know how much more you can do besides the bare minimum when they make the plans, and I don't know the extent of the plans. But if we all go with Two Rivers, we might be able to get a cheaper rate than what they actually, get more around that OOS price range initially. So.
If that's who they're going with, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Channel my inner Jerry here. If they approved them going individually at $25,000 and $24,500, well, what's the drawback to being fiscal agent? Then why don't we say, you guys go ahead and contribute that. We'll do the joint one at $500 for the $50,000 for the three of us.
Hanging around.
Would being fiscal agent be worth it for $20,000? $23,000?
Well, a lot of it comes back, as much as I know, we're going to get about 85% hopefully back in that grant program. So we're really $4,000 less for the whole plan, and we're going to, having that plan in place rebuilds the infrastructure if said damage was to occur in floods and wind and I think Sioux is already going on their own. They've made the decision. There's a new EMA in Sioux County, so old one, Nate, has already gotten all that done, so the new one, it must be rough, but the new one didn't have to do it. And so I think he's already moved on. I don't think the joint OOS prices is gonna be good. You know, in 5 years when I'm more understanding, maybe we can look at it then.
You don't wanna jump in with both feet right out of the chute?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go full time.
Well, if you can save us that much money, maybe.
I'm started to already. I'm already asking, you know, bills that we have, asking questions on that. So, $100 at a time.
Interest in action on the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan options.
Make a motion to go with Two Rivers.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion from Schulte, support from DeBoer for approval of Two Rivers individual county bid. Without further discussion, those in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, and they're looking for an appointment of authorized representatives. You're recommending yourself and the auditor?
Yes.
The auditor's fighting you, she wants sole control, or? No, there wasn't that? No, okay.
She was just confused as I was.
We have the recommendation to approve those two as authorized representatives. Is there interest in a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
A motion from Helmer, support from Loring to identify the EMA director and the auditor for authorized representatives. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. We have no further action items for us or discussion for us.
I'll need you.
So you guys can sign, or we can
You
sign
need
the
to
local
sign
match resolution.
Or what are we doing here? Or I have to, maybe I just need to sign that maybe. Yeah.
Here's one authorized representative, then I'll have to print one out for Rochelle.
Corey's doing a great job and I appreciate him. He's been helping me on a few things, so I do appreciate that immensely. So, thank you.
Or I can come back 2 weeks and grab it too.
So you want me to sign this for
For the authorized
showing that you're
representative.
the authorized representative?
I know he's been
Yes.
doing a good job because he's been slacking off on the rest of my stuff.
He's been it's been a learning curve for him.
You're gonna take one for the team, Jerry.
It's been good.
Chief Executive Officer.
Yeah, board chair.
What, to write my name and so it's legible.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll print one off with your name on it.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll get it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Was there something else in that email that we didn't get on the agenda? Okay. I'll probably have to come back in a couple weeks just to
They have the
finalize.
resolution or something, right? That we didn't know about or we didn't know how to do
Resolution.
that.
Yeah.
So we can do that next time.
Yep.
Grant. Approve to submit the application for grant assistance.
Yep.
We'll
And then
give those.
bring that too, and I'll get hold of Two Rivers and whatever else. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
Don't forget the donuts in the mail. Okay.
Need a napkin? Thank you.
Where to?
Let's move back up to the Know Before software. Consider approval of that.
We currently have this now, and then if we currently, if we have like an email that we think is a phishing one, we can submit it, hit a button, and it goes to Premier, and then they look at it to see if it's legit or phishing. Then they also periodically send out phishing emails to see who clicks on it and who don't click on it, and I get a little report every month as to who's been good and who's been naughty, and I don't know.
Have I flunked?
I haven't got one for you, so you might not be clicking on stuff. But I don't know. I mean, Bill knows about this. It might help our premiums a little bit, but these hackers are getting smarter. It just makes me more consciously aware of these phishing emails.
Grammar is getting better.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's scary. I mean, we had one a couple weeks ago that I guess it was from you that you wanted to change your banking information, and you look at it and it's like, it's not legit. So.
I'm pretty good if I don't recognize it's automatic deletion.
Yeah, me too. Or if I don't know, I call to see if they sent one out. Just
I don't
make
that
sure.
way I can say I never got the email.
Right. But yeah, it has been useful. So we have a little bit, I don't know, a couple less employees, so it's a little bit cheaper. But I mean, per rate, it's higher, but the overall cost would be a little bit cheaper than what we paid last fiscal year. Just think of those people were smart. How if they had a normal job, how they could do.
Then they might have to work.
I know, right?
Interesting. Approving the know before software.
Support it.
Motion from Loring, support from DeBoer for approval. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, quarterly reports are going to be reviewed.
Okay, here are these. I did print copies. But yes, I can review them.
She wanted to step it up.
Listen, none of that software costs.
It's yeah, it's fine.
Jersey was.
Okay, yep.
$20 difference.
Yeah.
I know, that was horrible. I mean, it was good, but it went all over the place.
Went to sleep.
Yeah, I have to wake it up. Yeah, it's getting warm in here. Like,
When Dawn sat there, I thought, she's not gonna hear a thing.
I know. Yeah, she won't. Yeah, she won't not hear a thing.
There we go. It heard you.
We're still trial and error to get the right temp. But it's working. We can tell a little difference on our utility bills. So, which is good.
The unit that blew over on the roof, is there any way to secure it down differently or better?
Well, they
or
caulk it,
you don't
weird
really-
you said.
Yeah.
We think that happened from the windstorm then? Just hadn't noticed it.
Right.
Sort of adhesive, 'cause you don't wanna run screws in or strap it down.
I know, I know.
So we use more room this time.
Right. That's all we need. I don't want to do that again. I just couldn't believe how much it cost to fix it. Like,
If it damaged the line set, I could see where it could add up in a hurry. If you're gonna, they have to run a new line set, or do you hear anything about it, or
I had to put a new compressor in it
the compressor?
and some heating elements. That was the biggest ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We're gonna just do a repair to that and then rerun it. We have consideration of claims as well. Boswell Water Service does have a claim in there, number 3. As we begin the new year, I'll again ask, with the vendor approval process, I believe that would be sufficient for us to not take those claims out separately and act separately on them. If that's the preferred method, we can continue with that, but
There's one change in here that Chrissy made that she updated but didn't get, you guys didn't get your updated one. On, I gotta find it here, what kind of number it is. It's that first one, where'd it go? The ambulance that she paid, she took that, it was taken out of general basic, Sandy did. I don't know if she didn't realize it, but we changed it to come out of that ambulance fund that we transferred money to. It was like $114,000 for the ambulance. So that's now taken out of the ambulance fund. That 03,000 fund that we had transferred 150. Yeah, I got, this is by fund, so I gotta find the right page. So page 7, to Aero Manufacturing, you have it that it was taken out of general basic, but we corrected that to be taken out of the ambulance fund, since we have the 150,000 set aside for that. So it's a little bit cheaper than what she first anticipated it would be. So that's one of the changes, anyway.
Have they delivered the ambulance yet?
I believe so.
that one here has it under issues.
Yeah, but under general basic. Not on page 11 under general basic, not under the ambulance fund. So on the new sheet it would have been, it's a different fund. And the sheet that you're signing is corrected. It just wasn't corrected on that. she is. Here, we have to change. Because Nolan was appointed to be in charge of that, so. And then there's other cases that we gotta talk about, so. No, but if she needs to, she does have access to them. Yeah, that's all been turned off, so. But yeah, she can have access to them if she needs to.
The concrete for sinkhole, was that in the corner of the building?
Yes. That was that area that we had discovered. They were doing some work out here. We just filled it up with a slurry mix.
We have a difference of opinions on that. You can do it how you'd like. No, there was no action on any of the claims.
I really don't care if you wanna put it in with the regular bills.
I think it's something good.
It's all, yeah, how you feel comfortable.
Since it's been approved, my opinion is wasn't involved in choosing them as a vendor, so when a claim comes in, it's been approved without my involvement. Action on claims is different than choosing that as a provider, but I can't continue away. It's just, in my opinion, unnecessarily a little cumbersome, but we can continue it. It's for clarity and that's fine too. But
Anybody talk to Dave about it, get over?
I was under the impression when we started the vendor approval process, that was his recommendation to address that concern. To me, it's similar when we have a mileage claim or something. I mean, our names are in there and we're voting on things that are legitimate claims within the
He will be here
departments.
anyway, why don't we just ask him, which is the best one?
I'm gonna take separate action this time and see what he says.
I don't disagree with you, Jason, I just think for the public's view. Yeah.
Sounds good.
To me, then we don't need to do the vendor approval process. But
It worked, we'll see. If it works for me.
take action on claims before we move into that, or do we wanna wait?
I make a motion, are we gonna do?
Wanna do them separate and ask?
Bosma Water Service. Then the last day of the month.
I'll support that.
You supported that, Mike?
Right.
Did you support that?
Yeah.
Action, motion for approval of Bosma Water Service by Jerry Helmers and support from Mike Schulte. I will abstain. Any discussion? All those in favor signify with aye. Those opposed, same sign. Abstain. remainder of the claims to be considered.
I'll make a motion on the rest of the claims.
I have a motion from Helmer, support from Loring for approval of the remainder of the claims. Any further discussion? Those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We will enter into joint drainage district 1, 2, and 3 with Dickinson County via Zoom.
Can you hear me, Jordan? Jordan, can you hear me? No. No, not very clear over here. Yeah, I do, unfortunately. I got both my computer and the TV volume up, as high as it can go. Over here, let me try something else. Okay, let's try it again once. Can you hear me better? Yeah, we still can't hear you. I have you up on the screen, but I'll try calling in too, and see if that works.
You want to mute it there? Then if we get, or you want to call first?
Is it not coming through the TV at all?
No.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, you can't hardly hear it.
Are you hearing just a little bit through the laptop?
You're hearing something.
Yeah, probably.
And the TV up. Or let me try to figure that out.
TV.
Is that 100% when we hear it? We're gonna hear it.
That's the extent of my technology.
You brought something up that I don't think I would have found.
It's not the right speakers, so I don't know why it's not.
You got it on your chair.
What's that?
A little further than I would want.
Yeah.
When you got out of your chair, you passed me on.
Hey Jordan, can you hear me now? Okay, all right.
Is that better for you at all?
Yeah. We'll have to mute that somehow. We have you on screen. We just can't hear.
Hear you over that, but you're gonna get that.
Yeah.
You were talking, you hear John talking?
Can you hear me all right there?
Yeah.
Can you turn the volume down on there, Keith?
I muted it.
Yeah, that would just pick up what we're saying. Can you turn the volume down?
Very good. All right. If everyone can hear me okay, we'll get started here. Wanted to give you guys, my name is John Hyatt with Beck Engineering. Reach out to all the counties that are involved with the disaster flood damage repair to floods last year. Widespread damage experienced throughout the county resulted in a presidential disaster declaration construction for the county and several of the other surrounding counties. In Iowa, drainage districts are eligible for disaster recovery cost share funding from the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Iowa Department of Homeland Security. The board has directed Beck Engineering to assess ditches selected by the county engineer for possible damages and to assist the board in applying for those funds as needed. Originally, we had reviewed 11 drainage districts, and ultimately applications for disaster recovery funding assistance were filed for 5 of the districts and 1 sub-district. The districts we'll be talking about at this current moment is Joint Drainage District 1, Joint Drainage District 2, and Joint Drainage District 3. You should have received some attached plan sets and cost estimates, which include the locations, descriptions, and quantities of the damages for the district. Specifically, I can talk to the damages here, just kind of 10,000 foot level. Joint Drainage District 1, we evaluated 8 damaged sites. Joint Drainage District 2 had 2 damaged sites. And Joint Drainage District 3 had 3 damaged sites that were applied for assistance and funding. Eligible projects receive a cost share of 75% federal and 10% state for the construction costs of the repairs, engineering, design, and administration to the drainage district facilities. Grant application administration reimbursement is covered, but it's capped at 5% of the project construction, design, and administration costs. So if you receive my report, I have a little breakdown of each individual drainage district that I'll go through here. The construction estimate for Joint Drainage District 1 is $117,555. The total estimated project cost, including engineering, design, administration, inspection, and grant administration, is $140,332. With the percentages from the federal and state reimbursement, the potential funding assistance available for Joint Drainage District 1 is $114,286.75.
Did you see that's on the back of this page?
And that leaves an unfunded total that the drainage district would be responsible for $26,045.25 in drainage district. Joint Drainage District 2 has a construction estimate of $29,495 with a total estimated project cost of $42,819 with potential funding assistance in the amount of $35,143.25. Leaving Joint Drainage District 2 an unfunded total amount of $7,675.75. And lastly, Joint Drainage District 3, construction estimate is $74,160 with a total estimated project cost of $90,468 with a potential funding assistance of $73,746, leaving the unfunded amount for Joint Drainage District number 3, $16,722. So at this time, the applications have been submitted to FEMA for cost share and are currently awaiting obligation. We don't know when that obligation is going to happen. Some of these applications have been in since April and also May, with no word on when they'll be obligated. We are approaching a deadline for construction completion on the Category D work, which is what we're talking about here, which is permanent work in FEMA's system. That deadline for completion is December 31st of 2025. So just looking forward on kind of construction sequencing, hearings, all of that work. I think when we originally applied, the hope was we would be able to start that work this fall. That's becoming less and less of a reality. So I think right now, what I think my recommendation to the county is that we request a 12-month extension on all Category D work for the projects, to just allow that proper amount of time for construction, hearing, letting, all of those sort of items. So, are there any questions on any of that? How will the amount owed be split up between the county? Will you have, who gets value based on?
Based off the reclassification. That'll be based off the reclassification, what your benefit is in that specific drainage district.
Absolutely, that will be reclassified. Not as part of this work.
It'll be based off of what the current assessments are for that drainage district.
And that would only be the unfunded amount. The funded money will come directly to the construction contract.
So are you looking for the same thing on this, 12-month extension to try to have enough time to do the hearings and get the bidding done and so on?
Right, that's the same request as the other drainage districts. We're asking for 12 months. Just with not knowing when FEMA's gonna obligate, not knowing what the future of FEMA is gonna bring. I think there's a lot of question marks. I think there's a lot of risk. And in other circumstances with FEMA funding, people do proceed with projects, they go forward, and then they get the funding back after reimbursement. But I think given the situation and the dollar amount to talk about, specifically drainage districts, I think it'd be wise to wait till obligation.
I'll make a motion to request a 12-month extension for drainage districts 1, 2, and 3.
I'll second. Jim moved. Mr. Dollar to second. Further discussion?
So you can ask for both counties,
That's
all,
correct.
instead of it being a separate, yep.
Any questions, Osceola?
Nope.
Okay, I heard.
Sorry, this is Jason. Is there substantial harm being caused to the operation of the district facilities? Or is this just something identified that is of concern because it's FEMA eligible?
It's kind of a twofold question. So category A work is disaster work that's needed right away. We did have some of that in Joint Drainage District 1. There's quite a bit of corn cobs in one of the ditches that got cleaned out. That has already been processed and submitted for. But outside of that, there's no immediate risk to the drainage abilities of the district. We're concerned for bank stabilization, future work as those banks continue to erode. We want to get those stabilized, and that's what all of this repair project is for.
I ask just think, I'm not necessarily opposed to requesting the extension, but if the district's gonna have to address it at some point regardless, is it problematic to wait?
I mentioned this in the first time. I guess it is a deteriorating condition when you have unstable banks. If we were to get another event, obviously those banks would get worse and worse with each rainfall. So there's a little bit of risk there if we don't proceed essentially in a timely manner.
Thank you.
Further questions? Continue. Oh, that was a thank you. Right, Dickinson County, if there are no more questions. Kim? Aye. Mr. Dullard? Aye. Mr. Clark? Aye. 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 And Bill is aye.
Osceola County, Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Loring?
Aye.
Mr. Helmers?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Very good.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Osceola County.
Thank you.
Next item on business is the approval of a part-time employee in the sheriff's office.
You're irritated about a half hour.
Yeah, because they told me it would take a half hour to 45 minutes, so I weighed on the of caution and bites me in the butt.
Getting the feeling you don't want to spend more time with us than you need to.
Don't want to stay here any longer than what you have to, right?
Well, he doesn't spend any time with us either.
Looking out for ya.
Now, with Keith, with FEMA,
Yes.
say we went ahead and said, okay, fix that drainage. Being we did it before they paid us or anything, would that screw up? Would we be liable then, or?
It's better.
Jelly run,
It's better when you do it.
No, I'm-
Is what we're finding.
Ahead of them?
Because they want to come in and do inspections of what the damage was and this and that, and kind of come up with what they think the cost might be and all this thing, and do you agree with that cost? It's a whole process. But if you've already just done it, and say, well, it was this damage, we did it, here's the contractor's bill, what it costs, then they just kind of like pass all that stuff and say, okay, we'll just use that number.
I thought it might screw things up if we
You
went
would
ahead.
think, you would think, but what we were learning during the process at the beginning was the guy was just like, and this is the FEMA guy who were meeting, he's just like, just get it done, just go, just go.
Yeah, I thought that might screw everything up.
It was weird. So like, we're doing this exact process with all of our work, where we figured out what damages with FEMA, they come up with what they think the cost is gonna be. We look at what we've spent in the past, and we agree on a number to obligate. Once they obligate a number, you're done with that number. So if it comes in over, you're eating that cost. So we're also finding that the longer we drag the process out to where we can actually get things done, then we know, well, we know the number is this. Like the bridge. We started with the bridge being about 1.2 million. Well, as we've gotten through design and different clearances, that bridge cost is estimated to be 1.3 million now. So there's another $100,000 that we would have had to come up with if they'd already obligated. If they haven't finished obligating that bridge. Now, the downside is until they obligate the money and the money is sent to the state, I can't put that on the street. I can't bid that project. I don't want to bid a project and have contractors out there and then all of a sudden FEMA pulls the rug out from us and says, we're just not going to pay for that bridge now. So it's a chicken and egg problem.
But this is a little different situation with it.
This work is already done, right? This is category A work or?
No, this is category D work, he said.
Oh, B, okay,
D.
D. I thought you said A and B here.
They have done some A work.
Okay, so A is debris removal.
This is permanent work.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna affect the operation of the district permanently, if we don't do it,
sure,
waiting and getting a higher cost after they tell us, no, we're not gonna participate, isn't to the interest of the district either, is my concern.
Yeah, I mean, part of my fear is what's happening at the national level with FEMA. You don't know from one day to the next. They're just gonna decide.
And just walk away.
This is already a declared disaster, so we think it's secure to get that funding. So we have like 7 categories, 7 type projects, and like we have debris removal. We're starting to see money on that, even though we're still cleaning out debris. All the work that we did last season, we got money for that. That's category A. Category B is the signs we put out, just emergency measures, which was signs to close roads and when we had a pump down in May City, pump in the ditch, right? We've gotten the money for that. So those have been obligated and they've gotten all the way through the state system and the state's starting to send us that money. There's other things there's one other thing, the gravel, all the gravel we had to haul and replace. That is not obligated, but it's under review by the state, which is the last process before it gets obligated. And then everything else, which is the erosion at the bridges, the culverts, the bridge washouts, and POA, things like that, those are still in the FEMA review of what the cost should be. But the farther we get along, like the box culverts, we have bids. So we turn that information to FEMA and they just plug that number in. Say, okay, we know that's the cost for that. The one that's the least farthest along is the Poet Bridge. at in the process. We should get the erosion of the minor bridge erosion should make it through the process in the next month or two.
But the way I read this, they can go ahead and do the work, and it will not affect the district's ability for funding assistance.
Correct. As long as you have the project created with FEMA, you can do the work. They'll figure out, I mean, again, it'll be a matter of, if you get a contractor out there and do this work and fix it, then you'll have good numbers. FEMA will just use those numbers. It's in 15 on the liability insurance, that's out of our policy too, for
Everybody's.
We have a portion of
Yep,
that policy.
everybody's. Yep, he's just gonna review it.
I'm gonna guess it's going up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I haven't really ever heard an insurance company say,
No.
congratulations.
They're going down.
It's gonna go down
Yeah.
significantly.
You
You're
don't
gonna
hear
love
that.
your,
That was a pretty good guess.
You don't hear that very often.
yeah.
No, it's going down, or going up, unfortunately.
Okay.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You kinda gotta look at it, it could be worse, it could be California where they're just canceling policies
Right,
on everybody.
Right, yep. Anymore, just thankful you have it.
It's not the only reason it'd be worse to be in California. One of.
It's a big problem. Florida's not much better in terms of, hard to get insurance in Florida either. My personal opinion is the entire state should be a floodplain, but never know when a hurricane's just gonna cut across the state.
Right. And a lot of disasters at Texas, it just breaks my heart. Ugh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I looked at the flood map, half that camp's a floodway. Not just the floodplain, the floodway,
Really?
the worst part of the floodplain.
It just breaks my heart. Oh, I can
But that
barely.
camp's also been there like 100 years almost, so, long before there was mapping, but I mean, it's pretty obvious when you're down at the river.
I mean, and this is an unusual thing.
Yeah.
But still, it's so quick that.
Yeah, it definitely breaks your heart.
The worst thing you get with floodplain management is when you have like days of rain that pre-saturates the ground. Then you get the big storm, which is exactly what we happened last June. We had days of rain, the ground was saturated, couldn't take any more water in. Then you get the big storm, and it all just runs off. We had one of those down in Tucson where it rained for days, and then we got the big rain and it derailed a train.
Oh,
really?
And it just, of course, the train tried to go through it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we-
At 10:30.
Okay, so do we have the claims, the board signed the rest of the claims, we signed this, but did we sign the other two? You signed the handwrittens. That gets lost somewhere.
I signed twice. So.
Okay,
Yeah, I did too.
okay, so it's on your plate then somewhere. I don't think you gave it to me, did you?
I did.
I got the handwrittens.
Yeah. And I got the big stack that I said I abstained on.
Yeah.
It's by me, I know that. I give it to Leroy.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, Leroy. You pass it on to Jason. It's Jason's fault.
Say by fund on there. Huh, what happened to it? Unless I put it.
the insurance. And you only gave him 15 minutes.
I did. I thought,
If we can show up early, we can give them more.
yeah,
Can't find it.
let me look. No, I can't. Let's see if I got it from that box I brought for you to see.
Claims will be signed.
Since I figured I think we both will have them.
Did you go on a trip or something?
We did.
Where'd you go?
Went to Alaska.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cruise or
We did the cruise first and then
the land?
and went up to Denali and back.
How'd you like that?
Yeah, it was nice. It got better as we went, so that was
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
How the mosquitoes?
Really, the only time we noticed them was we did a bike ride in the rainforest, which we didn't realize was gonna be that humid and warm and wet in Alaska. We're thinking mountains and snow.
Yeah.
And not terrible. That's really the only time that we, Denali, we didn't notice them all.
Did you cruise up?
We went up from Vancouver.
What'd
And
you think
then,
about the cruise?
better than we thought.
Oh.
Dave was a little worried about seasick,
Oh.
but it wasn't bad.
We've done that. We've never done a land one except we went to the Iditarod.
Okay, yeah.
One year, but,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do the cruise one again.
Yeah.
Because once you see it,
Yeah.
you're just,
Yeah.
it's
our,
all
like,
the same. But
Yeah,
now
like,
it's like,
we got, it, like I said, it just kept getting better because it was so wet and rainy and humid right away. And then Glacier Bay was nice and the fjords and stuff. And
The only thing I don't like about a cruise is basically all you see is the port you're in.
yeah.
yeah,
And that I
And
don't-
all those ports, to me, are just tourist
Yeah,
attractions,
yeah.
you know?
yeah. But nice to be able to do it that way rather than having to be driving or
Yeah.
flying from place to place up there, at least being it's so big. And I have to pack and repack and unpack. And,
Yeah, that's right.
So that part was nice. But yeah, Denali was gorgeous. You had like 60s and sun and, yeah. it was really nice.
Did you go with a group or you just planned it yourself?
We
or-
went through Siouxland Travel in Gordon City.
Okay,
They had a trip planned, so.
yeah, that's how I would have to do it.
Yeah,
I would
that
have
one was
someone.
like, kinda nice to do that with the cruise.
Yeah,
Because then you moving and stuff. And
I don't wanna plan
going through
anything.
customs and all that stuff too, because we were in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Did you fly back then?
We flew back from Anchorage.
Anchorage.
We took a train down from Denali to Anchorage.
That's a nice trip.
Yeah, it was, and we took a train over into Canada again from Skagway and got to see a lot of scenery. We did stop at the Iditarod headquarters,
Oh, did it?
yeah, and then, and saw the dogs running.
Sure.
And then, stopped at another place by Denali that raises the dogs for the Iditarod. So we got to play puppies.
Whose place was it, do you remember?
Dog on It
Oh.
was the name of the company.
We actually, my wife, she was into the
Yeah.
Iditarod and she
Yeah.
knows all the mushers, and we actually went to one of their farms or
Yeah.
where they raise dogs, and we got to eat supper with him.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the guy, because he had done the Iditarod about 4 times. His wife helps raise the dogs.
I think this guy's wife was the first woman to win,
Okay.
but she was gone. She had passed away.
Oh,
but-
okay.
But it's,
Isn't there somebody from the States too that goes and runs that?
oh, kind of from all over.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was a guy from South Dakota someplace. I can't think what his name is.
Yeah, I don't know if they really gave us an average.
From Canada and
Yeah.
Great Britain, and they're all over there from, yeah.
I thought there was a guy from South Dakota that
Well,
went
there
up
was,
there.
I can't think what his name is.
Yeah, I think they said there's not really like a limit to the number of mushers, so. And one guy ran poodles, apparently.
Oh,
He
really?
had a team of poodles. And they finished. I mean, it was just like, because now they have a lot, it has to be like a northern type breed dog. It can't be poodles anymore. Which to me, looked like, I was kind of surprised they made it.
You
But
need a couple of hundred of those little suckers out there.
they did.
You get a big one, though.
Yeah, and of course they weren't all trimmed up, like you think of them with all the weird haircuts, but, because they must have pretty thick fur if they're, it's a lot to grow. But when we were on the train, the lady was showing us the guy that had done
How did that bigger pool?
that. Yeah,
I
yes.
said, how do you know? I was walking with girlfriend.
Yeah.
Got all hair all trimmed nice.
Yeah.
And wearing a fur coat.
Yeah, so definitely good choice.
It is pretty country up there.
Yeah. And just how, and, open, I mean, there's not a whole lot up there really.
What's neat is when you see the state of Alaska, when they put Texas in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's about that big around.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of space.
There's only about 10,000 miles of hard surface road up there.
Not much. It was very limited, and
Yeah.
in one place I think that was Skagway too. When we were heading up to Denali, they have this 2-mile long tunnel that has lights, that has the train run through it, and any vehicles, and it's a one-way, so you have to sit and wait for your turn to go through before you can get across. And that's like the only way through that specific part. So it just goes down.
When we went to the dinner, we took the ice road, you ever seen that ice road truckers show on TV? And that road up to the Arctic Circle, we took that, and that was interesting.
You took that?
Yeah.
Oh.
We didn't go across any lakes or anything.
Oh, I was gonna say.
But it was a road that the ice road truckers took to get to the Arctic
And
Circle.
those idiots go across the lakes, I just.
Yeah, we didn't go that far. Denali was surprised.
It was cold up there.
Yeah, because you guys went like actual Iditarod time.
Yeah,
didn't
March.
you? That's what I thought.
Yeah, I remember you went to Alaska in March.
Yeah.
But my wife,
Well,
she was into that.
Yeah, the second grade teachers were big into.
Yeah.
I remember our kids, tracking it and all that.
We went to the mushers
I
bank.
don't think you can get me to do that.
We got off the Arctic Circle and the bus driver said to us, all along there we saw the pipeline,
Oh, yeah.
And I asked him some questions about it, and he said it's only like 25% at capacity now because where they're running out of oil, they don't let them drill anymore.
Mhm.
And I said to him, well, is that an Alaska deal or is that somebody else's deal? It's somebody else's deal, he said. Look out here, he says, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
He said, there's no reason they couldn't drill out here. There's not even a tree. He said, it's nothing out here, he said. And they all get a check out of that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And really, there's no reason why they can't.
Well, the environmentalists have gotten a hold of it.
Yeah. But
And when they're done pumping oil in that pipeline, they have to take it out. It's got to be put back to its original state.
Well, I'd have some lobbyists up there so they could start drilling again.
Yeah.
That would be a long.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Definitely worth going.
I'd go back to Alaska before I'd go back to Hawaii.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't really care for Hawaii.
Well, I don't know.
Depending on when you went, I guess, if it was.
We went in the winter time.
Yeah, okay, we went in the summer, so it wasn't a lot different than here, so.
Too many people and.
Yeah.
What I thoroughly enjoyed was when we went past the volcano while it was erupting, watching that come down to the ocean. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, we didn't.
There was some,
get
I think we
everything
took the
out.
wrong trip or something.
Maui wasn't quite as packed. It didn't seem like
No.
that was as busy.
Some of the people over on the trip with us went early and spent 3-4 days in Maui.
Mhm.
They liked Maui.
Yeah, it seemed a little quieter.
When we did that, we went down to Fanning Island. I don't know why, that was part of our cruise.
That's,
They had raised hogs on Fanning Island. One of them, they had it tied by the back leg to a tree.
yeah.
That was their deal.
Okay.
We spent a lot of beach time, and I'm really not a beach kind of person.
Yeah, I like to go look around. I like to go look around.
We didn't do much of that either. We dug down a volcano, so that was better than going up anyway. But not the active one.
So what you gonna do your birthday? They're gonna take you out for supper?
No. Maybe go to McKean's, I don't know.
Oh.
That's pretty good food. At least a few times I've been there, it's been good.
You probably go to a mall, that's the best place at the lakes.
I don't really go past Nick's Corner unless I have to.
Listen, your sister,
That little bar right on Nick's Corner, that's a pretty nice little place.
I didn't either.
In that hotel.
Oh,
Oh, that one.
oh. You get food there too, or?
Pizza.
Wednesday night we do burgers.
I didn't know that was there either. We haven't been over there yet this summer.
The little gal that did my surgery yesterday and the nurse, they were both at the Okoboji homes.
Yep.
They were all down here before.
I messed up, I should've ducked out here at 11 o'clock and went deliver Meals on Wheels.
Oh, I didn't see that
I
today.
went to Okoboji home too, but it was on 4 wheels.
I was just gonna say, when your 4 years is up, then you'll be having a Okoboji home, huh?
No. I have one on wheels.
I apologize. I thought the drainage would last longer than what it did.
It's not a big deal, just about.
Ah, bless it. Can't win.
I guess I'll forgive you.
Okay, I'm
I just
sorry. God, I can never win. Ever.
You're gonna keep trying.
I'm gonna keep trying. That's all I can do is try.
Come on in if you want. You can start early if you'd like.
Are you waiting on us?
We
Yes.
went through the previous item faster than I thought we
Well,
would.
that's good. You wanna get the heck out of here, right?
Now we got more.
You got more? Oh, okay, this isn't the end of it?
If
Well,
you don't want only 15 minutes, we can give you 20
Okay.
now.
good to see you all. I brought you a little bit of bedtime stories for your view, if you wanna pass them around, Jay.
Happy ending part, or
Well,
is it
yeah,
happily ever after?
Happily ever after, yeah. I just want to give you a comparison of where we are this year compared to last year. Premiums are up about 7%. Not so bad, but there's the main reason that we're up a little bit is we went from cyber coverage of 250,000 to $1 million. Oh, and before I forget, let me introduce to you our new program manager, Megan Hurst. She's with ICAP. And when she heard that I was visiting with you guys today, she was over at the lake. She said, "Can I come along?" I said, "Sure." So if you have questions that I can't answer, she'll be able to answer. So, but I wanted to introduce her. I'm sorry about that. So we are increasing the cyber from 250,000 to $1 million. It was your when you guys did the bond issue for the new jail, they strongly recommend having a minimum of $1 million. I don't know what the loss ratio is right now on cyber, but the last we had heard, this was a couple, 3 years ago, 600%. So there's a lot of cyber attacks, especially on public entities. There's a lot of information that public entities have, and for some reason that's a target on those hackers. Does anyone, I don't want to read through all of it for you. Is there any parts that you have questions about?
Well, we like listening to you.
Yeah, right. I see most of you getting ready to nod. Jerry, no, don't go to sleep. And in the back of this little packet, I included an explanation of really what equipment breakdown is, because that's all included in the policy. That's for your reading later, just so you understand what it is. It's separate than what you would get on your normal property policy. It protects itself from internal damages, things that happen within themselves, and then there's coverage on your equipment breakdown through that. So I just wanted to highlight that. Like I said, you can read that tonight and it'll put you to sleep. Any questions about where we're at this year for premiums? I know it's a lot to ask for you at this time. The next page, however, and as I do annually, I highlighted the next page. Just talks about the excess liability. You currently have $5 million of coverage. That means a $3 million in excess coverage. And that's where the premium at the bottom shows you at $210,494. But I wanted to offer you more coverage. Maybe I might ask Megan can you touch base on liability limits and what's happening? There's an effect out there on public entities called nuclear verdicts.
Right.
And they're offering, and there's, if one person gets $5 million, the next one gets $6 million. It sets a precedence for that to be elevated. So if I'll let Megan explain a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Well, give me a cane when I go, because I can go right into the weeds. But I'll give you this first. My son is 7 now, which is scary, but he'll come home and he'll say, we can sue for that. And I go, no, we're on the other side. We're not suing anyone, right? But you go, that's what the exposure is, right? And I know where he's being exposed. It's at school and stuff. But when Bill talks about nuclear verdicts, and then there's another concept I'll throw your way, which is social inflation. Yes. And what I would, how I would present it is, did anybody read about, do you remember, let's go back into the early 90s, there was the coffee that was spilled at McDonald's, the McDonald's coffee that was spilled, and I think the settlement was $1 million for the award. And then if you flash forward to just a few months ago, there was a cup of hot tea spilled, a Starbucks tea. Did you read about that? The award was $50 million. And so I go, if I spill a hot coffee or a hot tea on myself, what am I going to ask for, right? What's anybody going to ask for? They're not asking for $1 million. They're asking for $50 million. They've been exposed to it. They know that award has been offered. Now it'll be appealed and everything. But we've become desensitized to these numbers. And so that's what Bill is talking about. We see these explosive verdicts. Now, and we see it with law enforcement. We see it, you talked about cyber with municipalities. Our liability is the same. There still is perception of deep pockets, right? And so we see, from a claims perspective, we see settlements and awards just ticking ever higher and higher and higher. It's going to continue to do that. So you see that is the concept of social inflation. The nuclear verdicts are, there's 50 million, right? So that benchmark, what we would have asked for a while ago, has been moved because of this nuclear verdict, this outrageously large number that now makes that normal number seem far less than. So we're seeing that on a local level. For benefit, if I can chime in on your contribution or premium, your property rates are flat. Your increases there are exposure-based increases, meaning you've added something or your TIV, your insurable value has increased. We are seeing 5 to 6% rate increases on the liability lines, with the expectation, just looking at the broader marketplaces, that might be something that continues to trend up in coming years. That's not ICAP specific, that's market, that's industry wide.
Industry-wide,
Yeah, and so going to the excess, if I may, if you guys are at 5 million, that's better than the base of 2 million. I would say you're probably on the lower end of what we're seeing with counties. I think that there's, there's no right wrong. You're never going to know until you have a claim. And then you're either going to go, well, we have too much, or we wish we had more. And you never know until you get into it. But it would be something I'd encourage you to look at.
And if I could add, if anything, it usually comes from an auto claim. Like in the county situation, that's where the big thing is probably going to come from, most likely. It's not going to be coming from, well, that could be from acts of the supervisor or acts of someone else, but it normally comes from an auto claim, especially if there's severe negligence out there, like just say secondary roads, guy goes through a stop sign.
Law
enforcement, law enforcement's a big problem.
Yeah. Well, I think we see an intersection too, Bill, where law enforcement and auto collide.
Yes.
I shouldn't say law enforcement, emergency response, because it's true of ambulance and everything too. But there's that, and then the other one I'd throw in is employment practices as well. So we see.
Yes.
So there's a whole lot of fun stuff to be aware of. But I do think that knowing what we know, reading what we read, and seeing what we see, consideration of perhaps increased limits is worth attention, if nothing else.
Yeah. And like I said, I just want to make the offer. It's still up to you guys, whatever you guys decide you want to have for excess liability coverage. So go ahead.
I'm sorry, Bill. Does it resonate when we talk about excess liability? Does that make the reason I ask is we hear from some different counties like, well, if we have more, they'll sue us for more. The two are not. We hear it a lot. The two are not related. They're going to sue you for what they sue you for, realistically, and it's going to be based more on what a plaintiff's attorney thinks that they can get based on those external factors and what they're reading in the news and what they're seeing in other cases. And so all that excess liability does is gives you that additional coverage should a claim tick higher. Okay, give me the cane. Give me the ice cream music.
No, that's good.
Will they automatically, if you raise that, go for it?
No, that really doesn't have anything to do with the jury. It has to do with what their attorney tells them that they think they can get.
They're going to ask for what they're going to ask for regardless.
Could they settle for that? Just to, and I've asked Megan or ICAP before, like when they get into some form of litigation and rather than going through all this and stretch it out, do you make settlement offers just to cut the losses? She goes, yeah, they do. But
well, I think it's important, going back to the idea of social inflation, but just inflation in general. Sorry, I have a tendency to move around a lot. Going back to the idea of inflation in general, something to consider, right, when we talk about settlements and the cost of attorney fees is pretty exorbitant now compared. Remember when $200 an hour was crazy? And now we know of some, and I'm in the Des Moines area, but you know of some that are making $900 an hour. I definitely got into the wrong industry, but never mind. But so when a settlement, there's some. It's interesting. We were talking about this yesterday. Sometimes, and I'm very privileged that I can reach out to the lit team and ask, right? I'm not privy to all the information, but I can reach out and ask. And a lot of times we talk to our agents and they'll say, hey, what about this? And then the lit team will say, you know what you don't see? This one line, right, that could change everything should it go to trial. And so there's a really well strategized approach to settlement, I think. And the team that does it is certainly far more capable than me, but I think all of those different factors, including your attorney fees, what the time frame is supposed to be, those all go into, whether it goes to trial or there's a settlement.
And just so that since we're talking about attorneys now, you have so many, I think it's 5 hours of free legal advice if you use it. Top notch attorneys. They haven't come to the ICAP meetings and they come and speak to us. They're excellent. So please take advantage of that if you have to. And I know some of you have called before, so That's what they're there for. The other alternate, I also was asking in there is to move on to the alternate quote options. I wanted to offer you more, what the prices are if you wanted to go with 2 million cyber, what the increase would be. Just about 4,800 more it is to go to a 2 million cyber. There again, I wish I had the answer of what is possible out there. And then throwing this out underneath it, I talked about property deductible. I just wanted to make you that offer also. Currently you have a $1,000 deductible, and that's on all your buildings. And you have a $2,500 deductible on miscellaneous equipment. So there's miscellaneous equipment we have in the policy. So once you have a $2,500 bigger than that on miscellaneous equipment, then we start paying. But it's $1,000 per building. If we went to a 2,500 straight, it would save you $834. If you went to a $5,000 deductible, it would save you $2,300 a year.
So is that per occurrence then, maybe 1,000?
Yes.
Not for the whole year's per
Not for the whole year,
occurrence?
right.
But it does include, so when we say per occurrence, let's say at
Yep.
3 pieces of equipment or a property, and you have that one deductible applies to all 3 in that one occurrence. Is
So,
that?
you know, like, I was just talking with Steve Voss about some damage out at the fairgrounds. It was for a few buildings, and I said, no, it's one deductible for all of the buildings. Oh, okay, so he was thinking they had a deductible on every building. No, it's one for the whole thing. Yes, we can, yep.
You want me to tell
Yep,
you?
yep, go ahead.
Okay, the other thing, thanks. This is, I'm like a proud mama on this one, because ICAP now has a maximum. You know, last year we had the introduction of the 2% wind hail deductible. I'm sure, I know you guys have had some wind and hail up here, as we all have in our different areas, but this year it's subject to a per occurrence maximum, which is essentially unheard of in the industry.
It's wonderful.
Most providers, for comparison's sake, most providers have now a per location minimum or a per occurrence minimum, and we have a per occurrence maximum. So that gives you your worst case scenario in any, you know, whether it's tornado or derecho or just a massive hailstorm that comes through. And it only applies in catastrophic weather events. And so that's not designated by ICAP, that's by the Insurance Services Office. ISO, which,
Yes.
you know, many people are on some level familiar with. But if they declare a CAT, then the 2% applies. In all other occurrences, it's whatever your stated deductible is.
Right.
And to go one layer further, to be a CAT, it has to cause at least 25 million in damages across multiple insureds. So that's pretty, there's two pretty unique sort of feathers there that I think are really, really advantageous for the county.
Yes, very much so. Thanks for
Yeah.
negotiating.
What
it.
would they have for a $10,000 deductible?
You know, Jerry, I would have to say it might save you another $2,000. I
know a lot of them are going to higher deductible.
You know, the city went to 10, but the amount of money it's
The
whatever.
savings.
Yeah. You know, going to a 25 would be reasonable. You might as well say the $800 and everything's 25 for the building. So like, just as an example, in the fairgrounds, it'd have been 2,500 rather than 1,000. But in this case, it worked out good. But any more 1,000 is not much. You know, personally, on my own home, I have a 5,000. My wife doesn't like it, but I have to pay it for a new roof.
Well, we've said that on some of them as I see different things, and I go, I have a minimum on my house, right? And no matter how creative I try to be, it just keeps, that minimum seems to keep going up and up. Which I understand, but it's unpleasant. But we can, if you'd like, we can ask underwriting for a formal quote on the 10,000. Yeah.
That would be my guess, but if you want us to find out, Jerry, I'll definitely find out.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Okay.
I kind of like the 5,000 one, where we'd save 2,300.
Yeah, if you just
kinda like that
if you go
one.
2 years, you almost save the
Yeah.
5,000, so.
Yeah.
But that's totally up to you guys.
Do you think though, with all of our different locations of county buildings,
Yeah, spread
courthouse,
out.
then it's worth it or not?
I do.
I have that situation where I've
Yep.
got hog limits here,
Yep.
here,
And
and
the odds of getting
acreages and-
hit everywhere.
I get something every
Yep.
year.
Yep. Because you will, being that spread out. Something's gonna get you somewhere, you know? It's not here.
2,500 doesn't save us much when we're
No.
paying an elevated deductible every year.
Yeah, so that's for you guys to discuss. We just want to make the offer. And the last thing that I'd like to address with you is the 5-year loss ratio that the county has experienced has not been good. And I think it's 580-some%.
How long do you have to go to get out of that? 3 years?
Yeah, they just keep looking at it over a 5-year period.
Oh, 5
You know,
years.
and then, you know, we had the big fire. And so Megan just took that out to see what it is. We're still over 300%.
We have 900 or something at one time.
Yeah, at one time it was 900%. So it's improving. But the reason I'm mentioning this to you, just to put you at ease, please remember that ICAP, you are a member. You belong to all the other counties in the state. ICAP has never canceled anyone. Like, we have insurance companies now that if they have one auto claim, they'll cancel, whatever. ICAP has never canceled a member. What they do is they'll bring in loss control people and try to work things out. They know weather happens, they know fires happen, they know that's just part of the insurance business. But there's areas that are hurting, we try to minimize the risk. And that's a good thing. They want to make it better for everybody. And nobody wants their insurance companies going broke. That's not good for anybody. But to be able to work with the rest of the counties, what are you insuring now? 77 of the counties? 78?
As of last week, 78.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's an awesome thing. So that's a good thing to feel comfortable about.
You talked about lawsuits and the exorbitant figures asked for. I was just brought to my attention about tort liability.
Yeah.
Changes that got some no caps, or is there efforts at the federal level to limit caps?
Well, there are currently no caps.
Right.
It is state, so there are conversations. We'd like to see caps for obvious reasons. I'm sure you'd all like to see caps, but as now there's not, but there are certainly conversations around it. Yeah.
Tort reform's been needed for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I got a quick question before you leave. Fairgrounds.
Yes.
I'm one town. But anyway, talking about serving alcohol.
Oh, yes. Yep.
How much liability
Does that increase?
You know, and even if we go through one of the bars in town, is that it?
Well, what that would do, Jerry, is if you got one of the bars, then the bar has to list your location for that liquor liability.
Okay, and then
well, it's possible that if it's happening on county ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Preferably also listed as an additional insurance.
I was just gonna say, you know how I am about getting additional.
Yeah, you have it drilled in my head. It is drilled in my head.
That's why I'm asking.
No, and you can definitely do that, Jerry, but that transfers that over. Does that make the county absolve them from being in any form of litigation should something happen? No, but you've done what you can do. But
And how much,
But let's
do you have
just,
any idea what something that additional insurance would be on something like that?
like on a special event.
I'm kind of against
Yeah,
it, but.
right, on a special event, I don't even think it'd be $1,000.
Well, I keep hearing this, we're gonna make so much money, but.
Right.
You sell 1,000 cans of beer, a gallon of beer.
Right, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Has anybody applied for a liquor license?
No, we're not gonna this year.
Yeah, okay.
But it's always in the conversation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just, being, I'm the supervisor on the board.
Times are changing.
Yeah.
The fairs were meant to be like family entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, things are kind
But
of.
does it make a difference because the county owns that ground?
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of.
yeah, all of it, the fair board, that's a 28E, so that's a separate entity, and then you got the county involved, because they own the land, so.
I know a lot of counties
Yeah.
are going to that,
Yep.
but they're not all owned by the county.
Right.
The grounds aren't.
What if you, as a fair, were doing the serving, for instance, then ideally the coverage would be for the fair naming the county
Yes.
as an additional insured.
Okay.
And we could rope in, obviously, Bill knows more than me, but also we could look at underwriting and go, right, here's the concerns, make sure everything's covered.
There's a quick question I had about that.
Nope.
Because they always ask me and I can't.
I'm glad you asked, that's a good question. Rather than jump into it last minute. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Okay.
Go down.
Well, if we can keep those, if we keep losses down and those verdicts down.
Just say it'll never go down.
You know, I was gonna be the one that said, I think we have a new normal.
Yeah.
But we all still have coverage. I was with another agent 3 weeks ago, maybe, at a meeting, and he'd just come back from a national insurance conference. Now we're pooling, we run alongside insurance, but we're intentionally different, as Bill was mentioning. But in any event, national conference, and he said they told us the 3 states to watch out for, right? Florida and California, there's no surprises. We all expect them every year. Iowa is number 3.
Unbelievable.
They call us the
Florida.
Yeah, Florida of the Midwest. And we don't get the palm trees. We don't get, you know, well, you guys get the beaches
Yes, yeah.
close by. I don't get the beaches close by, but yeah, so it is I think we're in a new normal. And until the weather is more forgiving for, you know, a good 5 to 10 year run, I think that this is the normal in which we'll all live.
I'm hoping that it's cyclical, that it's just
Right.
running through a cycle and then it'll straighten out. I'm very hopeful for that, but yeah, it's not been good. You know, last year, Iowa was ahead of Texas in the tornadoes on the ground.
Right.
Never happened before. This, I don't know.
Yeah.
We do have a 10:30 item as well,
Nope,
gentlemen.
no
Anything
problem.
further?
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, see you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Enjoy the day. Yeah. Any changes, Rochelle, you guys let me know.
Okay.
Thank you.
John, you want to step up? You want to do a remodel update?
Oh, for the last one.
Yep.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
So I know that Jason sent me some concerns and is rough over on the east side of at the main entrance there. That was open, and I directed Kevin to buy some back concrete and pour that back temporarily, so that and then we'll just charge it back to Steffes, the contractor that's supposed to do it. Couldn't get him in there. I told Kevin to get it poured, and he did that, and he's been picking up. Contractors just left stuff laying around, so he picked up and put up additional fencing. But I've directed the contractor to finish up the emergency generator pad there. The road's been poured back in, so the main entrance is good. And Alliant was out there today, and of course they parked on the grass, but I directed all the contractors. Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
City.
Anyways, they pulled their wire for the primary. They're gonna be in there setting the transformer pad, they said, yet this week. I wanna get that emergency generator pad, and then we can pour that back in, and then they should be pretty much out of that area for you guys.
So it would have been nice if they'd have come in and told Rochelle and everybody what they were gonna do and when.
Yeah, the information didn't get transferred properly. So anyways, I will give you, you know, if we have disruptions coming up, I'll just issue it to all of you. That way I have it, you have it in writing, and then it's passed along. So I'm trying to get contractors out of that particular area to avoid any interference with main entrance there. So, any questions in regards to that at all?
You told us that day we were out here, when you were gonna move that, you were gonna pour it on a Friday, and it went on and on and on and on, and you left a mess. They left a mess, and I would've kicked their butts right out of here if it was my deal.
Yeah, well, that doesn't do us any good either. then we have to find another contractor to do it. What happened was they nicked a power line wasn't marked correctly by the city, and they nicked the line. They should have never started it with one person out there. I agree with you. It got started, and then, you know, they had rain the following week, so it didn't get done. But I do agree with Jerry. You know, we did not anticipate that, and we had all agreed that it was going to be poured on late Friday, and we being you and us and the contractor agreed, and they didn't get it done, and we have to get beyond that and make sure it doesn't happen again. We have been holding progress meetings with Steffes and their subs. You know, there's some coordination issues between Steffes and their subcontractors. As a county, we hold contracts with prime contractors. The subs, you know, we can make recommendations to them and such, but they kindly said, you know, we have to do what Steffes says because we're under contract with them. So then I issued letters to Steffes, to their project manager, and so we have been having progress meetings. I mean, in the progress meetings, you know, I can issue meeting minutes to the board, and what I'll do is get all the board's email addresses, and then you can have meeting minutes. Typically, board members don't attend the meetings in case I have to enforce contractual obligations or discuss certain things. Local contractors don't want to air dirty laundry in public, so we usually take care of that, and then I can issue meeting minutes if that's acceptable for you. And then I can, you know, we keep daily logs for every day, so we have them available. And I guess if you're wanting weekly progress reports, that's not a problem. I can issue them too. Just give you an update, keep the board informed. I want to keep you guys in the loop on all this stuff so that you know. That way you can voice any concerns, Jerry, if you have other concerns, or Mike, or everybody.
What are the requirements for the project coordinator? Does he have to be here all the time?
Project coordinator?
Yeah, or whatever you call your foreman or whoever's in charge out here.
Yeah, he's usually here all the time.
He wasn't here when they poured the concrete out here.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
He was standing with the inspector.
He left.
I mean, he inspected it before he left, and he was with the inspector when I called.
Well,
he was standing there with
I didn't take pictures or anything, but I know he left. I know he left.
He didn't go far, you know. Well, we don't have.
I don't know where. He went across to the next block. He was not there. Not the whole time.
No, and they're responsible for pouring it, and that's why we have testing inspectors inspect it also. So, is he gonna be there every minute? Not necessarily, but he's on site.
When they're pouring concrete, he should be there.
I agree with you.
And he wasn't.
He was there when they're still pouring, but any pay apps, we'll review them. I'll attend the meetings either by phone or be in attendance. I'll be in attendance for the next meeting. I wanted to, you know, there's something about pallet jack. Pallet jack is typically something that we buy for use for the county throughout the project. We're gonna have to move E911 equipment through the building. They use it for salt, they use it for food, you know, bringing food into the facilities, and for moving stuff around. I know somebody said, yeah, the contractors are responsible for offloading equipment and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to do is get everything bought out before contractors are coming back saying we had a price increase or anything else.
How much was that floor jack?
$374. I mean, if you don't want it, take it with me.
No, I was just wondering what the total price
I
was.
think we got charged twice for it.
How's that?
Because the last two payment stubs, it was in both of them.
I don't believe that's accurate. I think we reviewed the same one twice.
Yeah.
Is it
I
been
only
approved?
charged one, I bought it for you.
I don't know why we should have to have, why do we have to own them? We're not the contractor.
Well, the
To get
sheriff's,
things in and out of the building.
well, the sheriff's gonna need stuff, move the E911 equipment, which is not in the contract, it's part of E911. They use it for assault. If you don't want it, I'll take it. I'll just take it off site, but, by the time you drive.
We already paid for it.
No,
We
you
didn't
haven't.
approve it.
So I'll have to correct the pay application anyways, but.
But it did, minor, it did have sales tax on it. If you're selling it to us, then we're not gonna pay sales tax on it.
I only had circled the 374, I didn't have circled the sales tax. So,
Yeah, they were, I'm sure where I put mine.
I mean, if you don't want it, that's fine.
It was $349.69 for the pallet jack. You submitted $374.49.
I usually don't charge the state sales tax. So. If you don't want it, I will take it and get other job or whatever.
I'd like to talk to Kevin to see if they will need it, in the future. The sheriff.
No, that's fine. I thought Reggie said that he would want one and.
If it's gonna stay here and it's gonna be county property after the project's done, I'm not opposed to it, but.
Yeah, that's what.
Gentlemen, my opinion is he submitted a bill under his construction consultant bid amount. I think we're gonna get to that amount whether we pay for a pallet jack or not, so. We might as well have a pallet jack out of it.
I don't know where.
That's my thought, but.
Forklift was, I mean, I was checking for it, so.
If we can use it, I don't have a problem buying it, if we can use it.
Well, they use it to bring food in after we're open.
Yeah.
We gotta move up some E911 equipment, you can't get a forklift through there. I mean, I'm trying to get all the material in, it's nice to be able to move material around without driving the forklift. By the time we county hauls the forklift back and forth or whatever, you probably have that in there anyways. What I'll do is take it off this pay request and then the board can determine whether they want me to.
For now, just leave it on there.
Okay, I'll take it off and then put it on the next one, because then I can adjust, get the sales tax off there for you guys.
Okay.
Okay. As far as making decisions on, just bringing this up, making decisions on what we're doing. I mean, I know that the board talked to me and we talked about the Bentonite facility, but also, we ended up putting the roof drains off the courthouse and had them drill into the manholes and put them in there and stuff. And, the chiller, they're bringing in the crane to offload that emergency generator. I said, well, if we pay part of that, we can pull that chiller that I understand was not in use anymore off the roof. And I had Sibley sheet metal, they had to come drain Freon out of the system before you got it off. So I guess, what do you see as a process for me making decisions in the field? If there's something that needs done immediately, does that need to be run through the board? Do I have leeway to make some decisions up to a certain amount, or how do we do that?
My opinion is you need to make the decision, but you need to inform us and keep us in the loop and let us know what changed or why, and if it's going to ultimately be a change order, I think that needs to be approved by motion and vote at this table before it's just added to or proceed with. But
one of the things that happened was, the storm sewer was flooded. The city took care of their portion of the bill and fixed that storm sewer. But it was in the way of, the storm sewer was right in, sewer line was right in the way of the water, so they had to over excavate and go under to stay the distance. So, I mean, I got pricing and, you know, made that decision. It's just like out there, tying the roof drains in. I mean, originally it was 5,000, I'm down to 1,000 or something like that, as low as I could, and made that decision. So I guess, you know, how do we make them decisions? If I had something like that, the board would have to be available to make a decision. Do I straw poll you? What do I do with that?
I'd say minor decisions like that, just do them. Because you can't have people sitting there waiting.
I mean, they got equipment and labor and everything else waiting. Tried to keep the cost down. I represent you guys. I don't represent the contract.
I understand, and I don't want it to be hard on them, but they're under a contract amount to accomplish it. If something comes up that needs to hold that up, unfortunately, we're answerable to the people paying the bill. So I don't think it should be decisions made without the board weighing in on anything that's aside from the original contracts. But yeah, I can see where that'd be problematic, but. And no, 3 phone calls to the board members won't work because we've got to do public notice and 24-hour
but you can
notice for
also
the meeting.
Say,
and
go ahead, and then we do a formal change order and approval. I mean, I wouldn't, getting out of the ground is the only time that you run into changes. I mean, there's stuff out there that hasn't been taken out in years that we're running into. And we've talked to people and nobody knows what it is, supervisors or anybody. And, you know, afraid to cut it, so I'm, you know, working with a structural engineer, adjusting footings and stuff like that. And, you know, you have abandoned lines all over the place out there. But coming out of the ground is where you run into a little bit of, that you can run into additional costs, and you have to make decisions based on that. And I don't have a problem if you want to go. I just want to understand the process so I don't upset you guys and that we're following a procedure that fits the county. I mean, there's certain things out there that I want to talk to you, and I think you need to go take a look at. I mean, the boiler and chiller were typically in place, so now that the chiller's, you know, done and you have your new heating and air system in here, are we gonna remove the curb off the roof before we put the new roof on? I would like to move the air condenser unit for the jail off of the roof, hook it to the wall that's coming down, because that would be abandoned. Why leave it on the roof when we put the new roof on that? You know, are we gonna remove the chiller pipes and the expansion tank and stuff in the mechanical room? Are we removing the housekeeping pad and stuff? And now that the boiler's abandoned, I'm gonna ask for a deduct to not repipe that, you know, repipe that with gas. But you got your air intake chimney pipes in there, and, you know, do you want them removed at this time or do you want to hold off? I mean, it's up to the board. I'll do whatever you want to do, but there's a lot of stuff in that building with the elimination of the chiller and the boiler that you may want to take care of at this time. The emergency generator, Rochelle said she had someone that might be interested in purchasing it.
Possible, yeah.
And I didn't know if you're gonna try to sell that, and
Are you gonna put that up for bids, or how are you gonna do it?
that's not up to me. That's what I was gonna ask. I mean,
Well, I thought you said once that you might have somebody interested.
I said you may have somebody interested.
Well, I know that, but I thought A while back, you said you might have somebody interested.
Oh, yeah, I haven't discussed that with them. This is more of a local person.
Yeah.
I don't know, sometimes when you put it out for a bid process, not everybody's gonna want one and they're not gonna bid high, let me put it that way. Whereas if you negotiate, you might be able to negotiate a better price, but I don't know what your rules are.
Technically, I think we have to go for bids.
So,
So did Kevin talk to like Sibley Sheet Metal about those pipes and stuff and
I
that?
talked to Rich.
Oh, Rick, okay, because
Yeah.
Kevin asked me and I have no clue.
Yeah, he was just trying to find out some information.
Right.
I talked to Rick and all that stuff can go. It's just, do we want to take the radiant heaters out of the existing facility when we're doing construction, and especially if I can talk the contractor into doing it without a cost or something, you know, that's what I like. But,
Well, it depends on how much it's gonna cost.
well, and if I can talk them into getting it out of there without a cost to us, that prefer to do.
That ain't gonna happen.
But yeah, there's probably a cost to remove that chiller. There's a lot of pipes out there. After the meeting, if you want to take a look, I'll go out there. The other thing that I saw was you got that hatch that goes down to the basement down there. I'm wondering if we want to take that out. That door downstairs is frozen shut. I mean, at some point, you know, if you don't take it out, you probably have to, just based on if the fire marshal goes in there and tries to open that door, it ain't gonna open. It's rusted, totally shut. And it's gonna be where the new paving comes up for the parking and the new, one of the entrances into there. Do we wanna take it out now, or do we wanna leave it?
Be wise to take it out.
Yeah, probably, and then just put some vent.
Because with the repurposing of the facility, it's not gonna be an issue. It's not there anymore, right?
I missed it.
With the repurposing of that facility, there's not as much of a requirement to have that there, correct?
No, there is not. I mean, the only thing I could see is if you're gonna take the boiler out, that you'd wanna get it out of there before you, either that or you'd have to cut it out. But I don't know if anybody want that boiler as old as it is anyways. It could just stay there, so. I wanna look at some stuff and I'll bring them up at the next meeting. The stairs at exercise that are just for fire egress. I mean, there's enough dirt out there that I'd like to just build that up and slope it out of there and get rid of the stairs and the handrail and stuff, which would save us some money. So you know, architect and I are working on different things that we can possibly, you know, get a deduct for. Dimes add in dollars pretty dang quick, so. We kind of took over. I had the architect and structural engineer take over on submittals. So the precast company was trying to tell us they wouldn't have precast till November. I've already, between architect, the structural engineer, myself, and the contract and precast company, we have all the HVAC blockouts which are required for them. The drawings have been approved. I'm meeting with the electrical or the erector next week to determine a sequencing for the precast, so we can push that up. Steel had been out there. I had architect and engineer contact steel fabricator directly, so all the steel's been approved. And I've received the roofing submittals, so I'm in the process of them at this time. So as far as an update, the footings are exterior footings are 95% complete. Leroy's in there. We got surveyors been there and identified all the outside corners and is putting gap cons in so contractors can pull dimensions on getting their underground electric and plumbing in. So that will start this week. Emergency generator pad I want poured this week. I've been trying to get that done. The only thing that may affect the main entrances are setting hands on sand and oil separator. But that'll be a matter of pulling the truck in, pulling it off, and the truck out. That sets in the vehicle salad for it. And so they're digging that right now, and underground plumbing and electric will start tomorrow. And I'm meeting with contractors Tuesday next week along with the erector, so I can copy on meeting minutes for that. The only other thing that I would see is I can't control the city electric, but they are supposed to be in this afternoon and start terminating their hands on the wire. And then they talked about setting the transformer again this week. So if we get that emergency generator pad poured, we'll come back in and pour the concrete, the rest of the concrete in. The contractors should be out of that area at that time. And then I'll plan on attending the meeting for pay the next meeting. I'll get it to you, Rochelle.
Okay.
Do we have an agreement with the city of Sibley on 3rd Avenue, or where do we sit on? I mean, I don't think we should just assume that could be.
I paid for the permit to do that. I paid for a permit to do that.
To close that street for the duration of construction, or, I mean, I don't know that we should just assume that it can just be left closed.
I don't think it will be closed for the duration, but I think it'd be beneficial if we talked to the city to see if we could keep it closed. Right now, the driveways that are coming out to the east here, they're able to get out in the alley. They're going the opposite way to the west. We're trying to work with those neighbors on that. I would definitely want that road poured back in prior to that. So now that they're finishing up utilities, if push came to shove, I guess that road could be poured back. With the proximity of the building to the road, it'd be nice if we were able to keep it closed, just for the safety of the public. But I meet with the city and see what their opinion is on that. I'd rather not be using the grounds for anything. I mean, I don't know where you put stuff, Because we'd have to close it off and have to be a crane or something coming in. I'm hoping the crane coming in the south end here.
I think the city would be pretty easy to work with.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been bad to work with, and is it Darnell? Darnell? Oh. We've been working with Darnell, because they had the road closed down too for, that storm was plugged coming from the south there, going to the south. So they were working on that. So I guess I'll check with him first, and then if we need to take further steps, I'll be glad to discuss it with them as far as that goes. There's just quite a bit of activity. I'd like to keep the activity out of here and over that way for the public safety and for the safety of people entering the Pennsylvania courthouse.
I don't disagree, but just so we have an understanding and we know that it's acceptable, and just assume we can continue to keep that shut.
Yeah, and I'd rather do that, I think whatever is agreed upon, we probably put it in writing, I'll copy the board on it. Anything else at this time? For the contract, for the schedule and the contract, they fell behind schedule, you
They're
know,
gonna be Labor Day-ish
yeah,
at the pre-con.
late September, early August, that's what I'm trying to hold it to. So that's why I had the architect start running here and push everything through. And we've already approved samples of his group. So I got everything they need to keep that schedule, and then we'll have to hold deficit. We're not contracted with precast companies deficit. So I was concerned their project manager wasn't as experienced in some of these areas. So kind of took the bull by the horns, got all that stuff completed. I'm pushing right now, so they should have final drawings and piece tickets. Is my understanding that we should have them yet this week for the architect and engineer, but they're fully prepared to go over them immediately, because I need precast drawings for him to release the part choice to guys.
So we are not welcome at construct progress meetings, or, and I just understand if there's something they want to speak with you about that we may be asked to step out, or.
Well, no, you don't necessarily have to.
Show it post a quorum.
Right.
You gotta post a quorum.
Yeah, if I have more than 3 supervisors there.
Well, I definitely
Just
don't want to
observing the construction meeting, I don't think we'd have to, but yeah, deliberating on something.
I mean, if you want it, then I'll issue,
Yeah, if you just let us know when they're
yeah,
held, and like they've asked, just prior to the upcoming week, we give kind of a rundown of what is to be expected, and especially if there's gonna be access issues, it should be coming to an end, but.
that would be identified in the meetings, because what we're doing is setting the final schedule. I mean, I don't know if it ever stops raining around here, but, you know, we've been tracking the rain days and such. But, you know, I want to set that final milestone schedule. So they will identify 2-week schedule within that meeting. And then that will be listed as part of the meeting minutes also. I just don't want it to be a public meeting. So I don't want more than 3.
It's probably our fault. Is there a drop dead date or when we should have this done, or is there any penalties?
There is a milestone schedule originally in there, in the specification manual.
What's the date?
I was redoing June of 26, I believe. But we didn't award contracts per that schedule, so I gotta move that date back.
I understand that. Is there any penalty if they don't, even if you do move it back?
It has, in your contract, it has a penalty clause in there.
How much?
It's not specified. The thing that you find out about penalties is, are you gonna award the contractor for finishing early? And also what they request, you know, as attorney, is proving what the loss is. And since we're not housing out of county, are we really experiencing a loss? I mean, realistically, I want to hold the schedule that we had before, even with the rain delays. And I think that it can be maintained, in my opinion. So, I mean, that's up to you to determine what the loss is, and the contract does have terms in there if the contractor doesn't perform.
Do additionally have.
The way they poured those footings, is that acceptable?
It's acceptable. What happened there is Steffens didn't coordinate with their concrete contractor or their excavator. They didn't coordinate amongst themselves. And I asked them where they wanted the survey pin set, and they said on the grid lines and column lines on the outside of the precast. Well, they didn't coordinate with the concrete contractor, didn't coordinate, nor the project manager, so they dug too far over. And I told them they had to dig back in, so those footings were wider than necessary. And then we made a recommendation not to dig any more than what they could pour in a day. But Steph has told them to dig it all, and they finally stopped when that 2-inch rain hit. So we had testing agency come back, and they had to pull all the rebar back out, get the slop out of there, go back in and compact rock back in up to the proper elevation, and then set the rebar again and re-pour. So, yeah, the footings need to be wide enough that we can post anchor the precast to the footings. So they're wider than necessary, but I'd rather have them wider than too small.
Would they have been better off with forms down there?
No, they're called trench footings.
I understand.
Trench footings, if you have a form, it's
That
hard.
takes more concrete.
Trench footing?
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more concrete, and plus you have the friction on the side.
What about honeycombing?
Honeycomb? No,
You don't know for sure if you get a pack in there or not, or if it gets in there the way it should.
well, when they're dumping in there, it usually doesn't become honeycomb.
I have a complaint about the cigarette butts all over. We do have a canister, so if they're out there smoking, if they could put it in that canister, that would be greatly appreciated.
Smoking out there.
I just had gotten some complaints about that, so just be mindful, because we do have it is a smoke-free zone, but we do have a container that they should be putting their butts in and that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Jared smokes and Kevin smokes, but they've been smoking out that way, but I have mentioned that to everybody already.
Okay, I just have gotten complaints on that, so.
Yeah.
And
Realistically, they should be over that way out property.
I have a comment. We have a lot of people ask, what is going on over here? And is there any way we can get a big poster or billboard or something that says coming soon and a picture of what's gonna happen? A lot of commercial projects have that. And I think it would be beneficial if we had something that the public could look at, and a visual is always good.
And I sent
He
that
gave
to
me a
Russia.
small version that I was gonna put on the internet, on our website. It just, what the outside is gonna look like, not per se the inside, but I was just gonna put that,
I
got
can
it.
get something on the inside if you wanted to
Well, I
see.
think that says under construction there, a big old board that says.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
We'll find out the inside.
Coming soon, and the picture of the jail. People want to see a visual, with a lot of, what's going on over here?
I mean, I can definitely do that if you want some signage out there. I mean, I did provide, I had an architect draw something up,
Yeah.
which can be enlarged also, and get something to her so she could get posted on the website and stuff. But, I mean, the board wants me to get the cost, make a billboard up or something, or I can do that.
I think if we put it on the website, it's plenty good.
Okay.
That's
Well,
just
you
my
just
thought.
keep me informed of what you
Well, when
need.
they come in the building, that's when we hear from them. They come into our office, what's going on?
Yeah, I can gladly print out, each office can have a printout of what it looks like. We just got it yesterday, and we haven't had a chance to deal with it yet.
We need to maybe make up a 24 by 36 or 30 by 42 enlarged one that we can hang in the corridor maybe?
I think that would be nice. Coming soon.
Yeah. I mean, I can put something on it that says,
Or later.
Jail. Yeah, sooner or later, yeah. So, yeah, I can do that easily. I won't have it this week, you know, when I get back to the office, I may be able to get it printed up and mailed out, because I'm up here 2 weeks at a time. So.
Is the board okay with that, or okay with that?
It's fine.
What I'll do is I'll mark it up. That way I can send it to you, and then we can just approve what we want to say in the meeting. And,
Yeah, I'll print out what you sent me yesterday, so.
yeah,
I can give to each department heads or whatever.
I can add, you know,
Or
scheduled
like
for
outside.
completion June 26th.
It's a big project. I find it interesting, but I'm really surprised how many people know how quick it should be going and that we're not going fast enough, all right?
Yeah, well, the thing
I
that
haven't been
people
through this
don't,
before, so I forgot how
the thing that
quickly it's supposed to go.
people don't see is there's a process that goes to this, so that the underground's gotta all be put in, and then they're gonna come, I had them keep it at 98, pad, because you have 6 inches of rock and 5 inches of concrete go in there. That way all the conduits, they don't have to dig those interior footings. They set right there and they form around all the electrical conduit. And so there's over 6 miles of electrical conduit underground, along with your plumbing and such. And then your precast goes up, and then you can pour the floor. So, I mean, that precast, typically the precast, they put it up in Pocahontas in 2 weeks, the whole building. So, I mean, things will happen quicker then. This erector wants to do the precast and steel at the same time. So, that's why I'm hoping that if we develop the sequence and that we get the panels earlier, because they're not pouring all the panels at once. So.
Where does the precast come from?
The precast on this project was awarded to Gage Brothers out of South Dakota.
Not sure when Dawn will be
She's
available.
finishing up something upstairs, so she has magistrate this morning, so hopefully it's soon.
Any other questions for me today?
I think so.
Well, then I'll get on the agenda for the next meeting and with Rochelle and get that taken care of. Do you guys want to look at some of this stuff after the meeting? Over there in the mechanical room and stuff? Okay.
Gonna
Text
be all at noon or so.
Yeah, text me and I'll be glad to go through it with you and show you what Rick told me, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Only half hour. Half hour, right?
We do have an identified 11 o'clock item that the attorney's
That's fine. I can
coming
wait.
up on. Do you mind getting a start and taking a break, or?
I'd be happy to do that for you.
Is that all right? If we get going on the audit
Yeah,
review?
that way you can keep moving along. Yep, I can stop at any point.
Welcome.
Welcome. Appreciate you having me. You probably did a couple of them.
Let's get one for each one.
Here, flip it around. You guys get the one with the pages. I'll flip your guys'. Thank you, sir. I'm ready to introduce myself here. Dave DeNoble. So, pleasure to meet you, sir. Well, thanks for having me this morning. I know you had an extremely busy agenda today. So, we're just gonna go through,
Okay.
the financials. I'm gonna do as I've done in the past. I'm gonna try to just hit on the highlights of what was significant this year, basically explain to you what's in the audit report. Just make notes, stop me if you want to, or I can come back after we are done going through it. And I will be happy to entertain any questions at the time or at the end. So first of all, on page 1 and 2, you get the recognition of the officers during the fiscal year, including the Public Safety Commission board members. Page 4, 5, and 6 is where we give our audit report. And here we state our opinion that the exhibits and the notes that are in here are fairly presented in accordance with all governmental accounting policies. You can rely on these financial statements as being materially accurate. We go on to state the standards that we follow in our basis for opinions. We list what's the responsibilities you as the board and the officials for the financial statements. On the next page, we talk about what our responsibility is as the auditor of the financial statements. We talk about the required supplementary information, which is the information after the footnotes, but before the schedules. We talk about that we list the information included in that section and that there's no opinion rendered, as well as on the MD&A that comes before we actually get even to the exhibits and financials. Supplementary information, which is some stuff on your Public Safety Commission and also non-major funds, those as well as comparative information for the last 10 years. That is also fairly presented in accordance with the standards. And then we talk about the report at the end about internal controls, compliance. There's a separate report on that, and then a schedule of findings. So it basically kind of goes through the entirety of the report and the opinions or non-opinions that we're issuing on each. So the biggest take from here is that you can rely on these financial statements being fairly presented. MD&A is basically management's cliff notes, let's say, of what's in the audit report. Utilize this section if you have a question about a particular, how did this fund maybe change? Or why is the reasoning for it? It will give you some of the statistical basis for what some of the change is. So in an MD&A, you basically list the financial highlights during the year. It goes on to explain the annual reports, what's the audit report sections, reporting the county's financial activities on page 8. It talks about government-wide, and we're going to look at the county as a whole, but then we're going to look at it from a fund-by-fund basis as well, and that's explained on 7 and 8. Bottom of page 9, we talk about how you are related to the Public Safety Commission, Unified Law, and how that works in the county, and it gives you statistical data for that Public Safety Commission, which you're going to find on Schedules 5 and 7. So this is kind of a summary of Schedule 5 and 7, as well as it talks about how did its budget end up compared to where actual versus budgeted as well, and that's in the RSI information. We talk about the government-wide financial analysis. So this is the county as a whole, not breaking it out into different funds. It's basically Exhibit A and Exhibit B. So this section, all the way from 10, 11 to the part of page 12, talks about the county as a whole. And then we basically look at it from a major fund basis. Those most significant funds, what happened during that year. It's basically a summary of exhibits C and E as we get to there. So when you're looking at exhibit C and E and you're wondering, you can come back here and kind of get an idea. Page 14, the budgetary highlights. We just talked about that you amended your budget twice and the reasoning for those amendments. Capital assets, it talks about the capital assets you have, kind of explains what some of the significant capital asset transactions were during the year. A lot of it related to the fire that you had with secondary roads. And then we also go on page 15 to list the different long-term debt that's been issuance, as well as the IT subscription liability and the lease agreement, as well as geo bonds, drainage as well. Kind of explains those in that section there. And then we look at what your fiscal year 24-25 budget factors were for this past fiscal year. So on page 19 then we get into the financial statements. This is the full accrual. So this is the county as a whole. So we're looking at it from all activities of the county lumped. It's broken up into the primary government, which is all county governmental activities, so government funds basically, as well as the internal service fund, your group health insurance fund. And then we have the public safety in that second column. So as I explained before, it's not necessarily how much assets, deferred inflows, deferred outflows you have. It's really the net position that really makes the big difference. So we're going to look at that last section on page 20. This is as a government-wide. So in that first column is the county government. And basically you have $23,811,000 invested in capital assets less any, so it's basically the net capital assets minus any long-term debt that's related to those capital assets. So basically you have $23,800,000 in invested in capital assets. Then we get into the restricted and it lists some of the major purposes, what that money's restricted for. And you have $7,979,000 in restricted money, fund balance. And then your unrestricted, which can basically use for any general fund legal purpose, is basically $1,809,000. So that kind of gives you the breakdown of, okay, we have 33 million, but 24 of it's really sitting in assets. 8,000 is in our, basically our debt service or our special revenue funds, or restricted for specific purposes such as general supplemental, hotel, motel, jail improvements, and then we have what is unrestricted for the county as a whole. And then on page 21 and 22, we have the full accrual. So how did that fund balance, net position change during the fiscal year? So basically, it's meant to look at it from a functional, we list basically first, what are all the different functional expenses? What revenues did they generate each function in the form of charges for services, grants, and to basically come up, that's why we got this columnar approach, to come up with what is the, on the first column on page 22 then shows for each function what was needed to be generated in general revenues in order to cover the amount expenses exceeded what their functions generated for each of those expenditure functions. And then we can list the different general revenues, which are basically mainly property taxes, investment income, grants not restricted, drainage assessments as well. So basically your net change in profit increased by $1,105,000 from the year before. So you went from $32,495,000 to that $33,601 that we saw in the previous financials, which is a 3.4% increase. Public Safety Commission increased by basically $27,646, which was a 2.3% increase. So it basically has $1,690,000 for the public safety as a whole. So then we get into our different governmental funds. So we basically list what are the major funds, which are any of them that basically exceed over 10% of a asset liability or revenues or expenditures, and then any that you deem to be major due to the debt service as well. And then we list the non-major revenues later. So this is on a fund-by-fund approach. This is meant to be on a short term. So basically what's available in these funds to have spent in 24-25, not a long-term approach. That's done in the government-wide analysis. So this is meant more for a short term. In the near term, what can you spend, what is available to be spent? And then we list the major funds, and then in the second to the last column, we list the non-major special revenue, which is all the other funds which will be listed on Schedule 1. And we basically summarize those in detail on Schedule 1 and put the totals here. So what's most important is, as well, here is the fund balance section. So first of all, we have for the general, which includes like general, supplemental, conservation, land acquisitions also included in there. You have basically under prepaid, what's already spent of $40,879. You have $786,000 restricted for the purposes listed here. General supplemental, levy purpose, hotel motel, jail improvements, and the land acquisition. Then you committed $150,000 balance towards the ambulance fund, which we list separately. And then what is unassigned, basically anything that hasn't been restricted or accounted for, you have $2,368,000 available for any general fund legal purpose. So you have $3,345,000, and the next exhibit, we'll look how did that change. So rural services has 686,000 available on June 30th, 24. Secondary roads has 5.8 million, of which 891,000 is in non-spendable inventories and prepaids, and then you have for secondary road purposes $4.9 million available. The amended ethanol TIF had 24,333 in it at the end of the year, as well as the CFE TIF had 1,034. And then all the non-major revenue funds, which I'll look at later, had 318,000 for a total of 10,196 in all governmental funds fund balance. So then how does that change? But first, we're accountants, we love reconciliations. So we reconcile, how does those governmental fund balances, Exhibit C, reconcile to Exhibit A, which is all governmental activities. So we give you a step-by-step adjustment process so you can reconcile from the beginning to the end. Want to stop?
Attorney's here, is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfect time.
Page 27 would be next, right?
Yeah. Did you need me to step out?
We have not gone into closed session, but that is a potential.
Okay, I'll just come get me.
We
when
have
you're
an
ready.
item for potential closed session under Iowa Code 2151C, considering opioid litigation settlement participation. Is everything needing to be under closed session?
Probably.
Okay, we have the recommendation from our attorney to utilize closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
My apologies for being tardy, I was in magistrate court.
A motion from Schulte, support from Loring to go into closed session. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Loring? Mr. Helmers?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. We are in